Do you believe relationships can exist without ego?
Yes, I think that's less common these days just because everything is kind of based around ego. And I feel like that's kind of due to social media and everybody just going about things their own way. Everything is, they have a motivation or some sort of influence from somewhere else that may not be the best for the situation. But I believe relationships can definitely exist without ego. But I just feel like it just got to be the right people within a relationship. The reason for the relationship got to be because you really like a person, you're really trying to get to know them.
Connection.
It can't be like money driven. It can't be based off of ulterior motives, I would say.
I feel what you're saying. Think that you, like, if you love somebody, you can put your ego to the side.
For sure, 100%.
Like, and I think that's how you know if you really love somebody, you really bang with them. It's like, I could put my ego to the side.
That's a bar. That's a fact, man. Yeah, that's a thing. Because most men, definitely with men, like if a man puts his ego down for a woman, he definitely likes her.
Because it's hard for them, right? Yeah. Especially in the Black community. Right. So on the Breakfast Club, they had a discussion about women have a higher success rate when they're shooting their shot. What do you think about that?
I think they do. I think they have a higher success rate just based off of the fact that men kind of deal with whoever, kind of like not like that, but like it's a lot more common for a man to deal with a woman no matter where she's at in her life versus a woman like vice versa.
Right.
Like a woman's not. There ain't too many women that's about to deal with a man when he's at the bottom or while he's trying to come up. Every now and then, but it's not common. It's more so common for men. So women could just shoot their shot at whoever. There's somebody that's going to go.
Right. So females get in them DMs.
Not all of them though. Not like.
But some of us, we be scared to shoot our shots. Well, I know for me, I'm like, I don't know about that.
Yeah, I know a lot of women like that too. There's women that have told me things like that. Like I guess some women are intimidated by certain types of men, but some women don't feel like they supposed to.
That's what I was about to say. I feel like it's not my role. It's like, I'm old school. Like a man is supposed to pursue you. Yeah. So.
But how he supposed to know though? He might be interested in you. He just might not. Because me, I go off of like, I gotta like have. I don't know. I was raised by like some players for real, and I just believe in women do the choosing. Like you let women choose. You can be pursued, but I feel like I gotta know. Like I gotta feel some type of interest.
Yeah.
Like, but I know when a female's interested though. I know like body language.
Can tell.
Eyes and it's. But sometimes that could be a false judgment. So
yes, because I know for me, I have to watch for certain things. I'm very genuine and
that's what I'm
nurturing.
That's what I mean.
So I got a lot of guy homies and like I'll be cool with them, checking on them, and then they start to thinking I like them. Dog, I'm the homie.
Yeah, I'm not trying to. I ain't trying to kick it like that. But that happens with me too. Like I'm just like a genuine person. So like I think people just not used to genuine people no more. It's a lot of weird stuff going on, so you can't blame people. But like, there's still genuine people that would just tell you, like, hey, you look nice today, or I like your outfit, I like your hair, just to make people feel good. Like I love making people's day and making them feel good because I like when people do it to me.
Right. So what's your sign?
I'm a Scorpio.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm just
I thought it's always there's always a comment after I say that. But
okay. No, I don't know too many Scorpios, but I get what you're saying. I agree. There's not too many genuine people out there. So if you got some genuine people around you, you hold on tight to them.
Close, man. You gotta. There ain't too many thorough people left.
Swear it's hard to find. Let's get into your podcast, The Local Millionaire. What inspired you to start the podcast?
The Local Millionaires podcast was just inspired by basically what I wanted to see as my younger self, as far as seeing people that look like me doing all different types of things and, outside of the norm, outside of what we seen, like growing up in the hood down Larmer on East Side. I'm from down the street, but.
Oh, you from Larmer?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm from Garfield.
Omega. So, I created that just to push entrepreneurship, just to show the younger generations coming up that, you know, there's all types of things you can get into. You know, plus I just love to talk business. I love to learn. You know, some people I interview them and I'm learning from them at the same time, just as much as they may be learning from me. And a lot of people, I started out kind of on Instagram with it. So I make a lot of content, just business videos, and so many people was like, they just like hearing me talk. Like I get that all the time. So I made a podcast. I'm like, people told me like, you should start a podcast. You should start a podcast. Mm-hmm. I started it. And my thing was, I'm like, I'm not going to do what the typical person does. And it's no shade to, you know, music artists, but every time someone starts a podcast or just some type of platform, the first thing they run towards is rappers. I'm not sure why. You know, there's a lot of other people out here doing a lot of cool stuff, a lot of real stuff, a lot of things that are truly beneficial to the masses. Not to saying that there's not artists and things of that nature that are doing it also, but basically what I'm saying, I didn't want to start a platform where I based it off of like popularity. It's more so like just business, like, because there's a lot of people who don't really have a big name, but they making major moves and they really know some stuff. So, and they don't ever get a chance to tell their story. So that was my thing, is giving people a chance to tell their story. Like, you know, of course you got to be moving a certain way to come on a podcast. It ain't just anybody, but like if you having some motion in your business, that's what matters. Because me, it's all about giving game. So like, if long as you having some motion, that means you got some game to give.
Right.
And you could, you know, get on a podcast.
Yeah, so I don't know if you checked out my podcast, but mine's is similar as well, where I don't go for like the most popular person. I go for like live experiences. I've talked to people like that went through trauma, people that came out of jail. I had my uncle on here. He did 10 years in prison. So he talked about his experience and things like that. So I like to have people. I had a psychiatrist on. So I like to have, like you said, different,
like a variety.
Yeah.
Different things.
I just want to hear people's stories. Like, like you said, I like to learn. I think most podcasters think they have so much to say. Like, I have to teach you this. And it's like me, I want to learn.
Yeah.
Like I've learned, like you said, I've learned so much from other people.
From people, it's crazy. Like,
it's like, wow. And then people look at certain people from certain areas a certain way. Like even with the inmates that I interviewed, people will comment and say different things, and it's like they're not just that fathers, they're, you know, uncles and things like that. They're just not that.
It's not that. Like, this is
so
real
you get
people,
to hear their
man.
stories, and you see so many people connecting to the story, different, you know, areas.
It's relatable.
It's relatable.
It basically, that, and just like from a branding standpoint, I just feel like, you know, it'll be good for branding, since I was already making and talking entrepreneurship business all day, every day. That's all I do on my story. I make content, you know, people I'm talking to, like, I just like getting money. So I'm always talking about business and growing, and I got a lot of people I grew up with that's, you know, unfortunately in situations of what you said, in prison. I got a little brother doing life. I got people that's just like caught up in the system.
Right.
And so things like that is like my motivation, because, you know, I was once out there too, you know, product of the environment, but I just always was able to see ahead, and I always thought highly of myself, and I always knew I would be something, some way. So, basically, I just like, I changed my ways and what I was doing, and I'm just like doing my best to lead by example. I'm not perfect, but like that's like my narrative with that. Like, it's the stuff I push and I say on the internet, it's like deep for me.
Right, and I can feel that. That's what drove me to contact you, and I think people need to hear that. People from the streets need to know you can be more than this.
Yeah,
you can set up real estate. You can do all of this. You don't have to go that route. Like, let's speak of it in a positive way. We don't have to talk about, you know, street life like it's the thing to be.
Exactly.
So yeah, I love that. So you talk about real estate, credit, and business. What made you start your real estate investments?
I just kind of just jumped into it. Like, I always wanted to be in real estate, but growing up, you know, I really didn't know how. And I thought it took a lot more money than it takes. And it just kind of got to a point. I started out wholesaling, and that's, you know, wholesaling is like you're making money off real estate, but you don't technically do real estate. But it's a way to learn real estate and to build up capital to then get into it as an investor. So I was wholesaling for a little bit, stopped, and then it kind of just fell on my lap, with a few of my business partners. We kind of just like came across the game on how to get funded for a deal, and then we realized like this whole time we thinking we need all this money to get in real estate. We thinking these people is like just super rich and just cashing out. It's like, nah, they're using private money. They're using, lenders, and we just caught on to the wave and learned the game, and now it's like, we in it. So it just kind of just was one of them things where you keep it on your mind, you don't like let it go, and then you kind of like jump in when the time is right. Like you want to do it, but you're just waiting for the opportunity, and the opportunity it kind of came to me through my business partner, but it came through the wholesaling and the real estate and stuff that was already being done, So yeah, it just kind of like, that time came and it was like, okay, we jumping into it.
Okay, what do you find is the most useful like experience or lesson you learned when dealing with real estate?
I'm not gonna like real estate. There's nobody in real estate that ain't took no L's. Like it's gonna hit you hard, like because it's a part of the game. Like you gotta get your skin in the game. So I think real estate is gonna teach you how to operate under pressure for sure. Because there's a lot of pressure with real estate. You buy these houses, you got a $200,000 loan. You got to get it done by a certain amount of time, or you gonna pay all this interest. Like there's just like a lot of pressure. You got to be on top of contractors. You dealing with agents, your lenders, the city, state, or like just taxes. Like it's a lot. It's a lot more than what people think. And I think it just teaches you organization. It teaches you how to work under pressure, and it's a good way to practice, or I would say like learn investing too. Because it's all about investing, but the numbers have to make sense. So you got to analyze deals before you buy them.
Okay, it sounds like you need to study like real estate before you get into it. From what you're saying, it's like seems like there's so much going on with it that you need to know the actual business.
For sure. You definitely
before jumping into it.
Yeah, you need to study, and so like I said, we started out with the wholesaling. That kind of gave us that idea in a sense of what it would be like. But you definitely should study, but there's certain things like you ain't gonna really learn till you just get in it. But for the most part, you definitely should study, or definitely find a good mentor that can at least get you in the right direction.
Okay, how can people hear your tips about real estate and credit and your business ventures that you have going
on? Mostly everything is on my personal Instagram at SayPleezy. They could get on a podcast, Local Millionaires Podcast on Instagram, YouTube. And then like any camera stuff as far as my multimedia business is under DSP Digital.
How important is credit when running a business?
Credit is the most important, if you ask me, aside from, having some sort of capital. But credit is more powerful than having the money, because the credit could get you the money. And depending on what business it is, a lot of them you're not even going to be able to get into if you don't have decent credit. You don't gotta have the best credit, but if you don't at least have some type of credit, most of the time you're not even gonna get in the door. If you don't have the credit, you gotta partner with somebody that has credit.
Okay, can you give us a tip on like how to get like good credit or work on your credit?
You just want to have positive accounts. In general, the average person is gonna say, you need like 6 to 10 positive accounts reporting. If you like really trying to scale and get business funding and stuff, I say 10 to 20. That's what I was taught. But you want to have some positive accounts report. You don't want no late payments. If you can, you want majority of your utilization. You want it to be under 10%. A lot of people say 30. You really should do 10%. 2% if you can. But if you can't, then 30% is still fine. But you just want to understand your credit. Once you understand credit and how everything reports and what takes the biggest margins out of your credit score, you will know how to, move forward with keep building your credit up, but also keeping it at a good standpoint.
Okay. How important is credit in a relationship, or like, I know you're not married. How important is that? Would you marry or date someone that has bad credit?
It depends on why they have bad credit. Because some people got bad credit simply because they have no credit. Like they say, having no credit is the same as having bad credit.
Yeah, I heard
so
that.
like it was easy for me to build my credit up because when I started building my credit, which was a lot later down the line, I didn't start building my credit till about like 23. That was the thing. I just didn't have no credit, so all I had to do was just start adding positive accounts and making sure I'm being on time with my payments and making sure I'm keeping my utilization at a lower percentage. Because all I had on my credit was a college loan, and I ended up getting that removed. You can get anything removed too off of your credit profile, but
disputing it, right?
Yeah. So I would say that, yeah, it would depend on the situation. Well, I'm definitely not really just diving in with nobody that's just obviously bad with financials because that's essentially what having bad credit means. That like that's how the banks, that's how the world, that's why some places to live at, they run your credit because that's basically like your report card. You can say whatever you want, but that's gonna show to them that's gonna be your proof whether you're financially responsible or not.
Right. Well, you can put them on game. Yeah, done, right?
Yeah. It's like a double-edged sword because there's some people who got a lot of money and don't have credit.
Mm-hmm.
But that could be one of those people who they never learned credit. They don't understand credit. But also, again, that's on them for not understanding it, you know.
Well, do you think that's really on them? Because I feel like in the Black community, I don't know, for me, I wasn't really taught credit. I know when I got my first credit card, I was like, "Oh, Mom, I got this credit card," and you're just like, "Oh, we could go buy some stuff," and instead of her sitting me down and telling me what to do and what not to do. Exactly. As I got older, I realized that was not a good idea.
Yeah, going and renting like businesses like renting centers, so none of that stuff was ever smart. Financing couches and TVs and shit. Mm-hmm. It's the lacking the financial literacy part where you make those bad decisions. Because once you understand financials and you have some sort of financial literacy, like you kind of know what to do and what not to do, no matter what it is that you're touching when it comes to like money and financials. Mm-hmm. Once you start understanding compound interest, understanding interest rates, understanding just how a loan is broken down, things of that nature, like you kind of move a different way. And I feel like, of course, that information was just lacking in our community. So, like, a lot of our parents never learned credit. A lot of them have horrible credit because they don't really understand it.
Exactly.
And I feel like if you want to learn it, you're going to go learn it because that's what I did. I just was like, I need to get my credit together. Mm-hmm. And I just started working on it. And I found the right people to connect with. And, I just learned it from there, studying YouTube, all type of stuff.
Right, and I feel like we don't have the resources because I have Caucasian friends where they had school classes like about credit and different things, and I'm like, we never had these kind of classes.
Never had that. Never had that, and a lot of their parents set them up ahead of time with credit. So like that's one thing. If our parents didn't have credit or didn't understand it, how they gonna set us up to understand it?
Right.
I remember I used to be in high school and I went to Peabody 9th and 10th, but 11th and 12th, we had moved to McKeesport. So, like, out there, in Peabody, there really wasn't no, like, white kids, but there was, like, a good mixture of black and white and all different types of people in McKeesport. So, like, I used to see, like, these 16-year-old kids pulling up in, like, brand new cars, and I used to really be confused, like, how? I'm like, because I know I can't get that, like my parents don't even have that. That's when once I started learning credit, I started understanding that, it's a normal thing for parents to go get a little credit card in their kid's name.
I learned that too.
And pay on it all the way up until they turn 18. So by the time they turn 18, they got a 800 credit score because they got 18 years of consistent payments on their credit, on top of being added as an authorized user and stuff like that. Onto, there's parents' cards as well. Just there's so many different ways to do it to build up the credit, and they understand it by just it's like it's not even costing them much. You get a little credit card, and literally just buy little stupid stuff with it and pay it all. It could be $20, but them on time, consistent payments over almost 18, 20, 16 years is like crazy.
Right, and that's why I appreciate you is giving back to the community with knowledge because I feel like a lot of people in like the black community don't really help each other out.
No.
So I appreciate you giving those clips on what you should do and tips and just kind of like for free, kind of. So
Yeah.
I respect that.
Yeah. I ain't gonna lie. I feel like a sucker if I didn't. I ain't gonna like. I'm not gonna lie.
Now that's a bar.
I wouldn't feel. Like I just wouldn't feel right. Like I don't feel right holding no gaming, holding no sauce, whatever people want to call it. Because I truly want to see everybody winning, especially my people. So, you know, like I said again, just leading by example. Like me doing that is my way of. I feel like, you know, I'm moving in my purpose, and that's my way of, like, you know, like you said, like giving back and just like being a man that I am. Cause and it's for the youth for the most part. It's not for like grown ass adults whose head is hard as a rock. Like, cause I ain't gonna lie, cause I know there's some people that look at it and probably be like, you know, there's always people judging. They might think it's corny or this and that, or, you know, there's people who might comment on something I said, and I'm like, I'm not even really talking to you, so I really don't care. Like I'm talking to the youth, the kids. I'm talking to adults too. I'm talking to whoever wants to listen. Let's say that. You know what I'm saying? But I know the older people get, the more hard-headed they are. And I'm going to make sure I never get like that. Like, that's why I'm always an open book. I'm always looking to learn. I'm always going to be a student of the game.
Right, and that's important. When do you start seeing profits after investing in a property? Because like you said, people think when you invest in a property, you get the money fast, but it doesn't seem like it works that fast.
No, it doesn't. That's also a thing from the outside looking in. When you looking at it, you think you about to get into real estate, make all this money, until you find out real estate is a long-term game. It depends on what you're doing in real estate specifically to answer that question, because there's so many different things you can do. But long story short, like if you're doing a flip, you could be profitable after, you know, 90 days, typically 4, 5, 6 months, depending on how long it took you to flip the property. But at the same time, as anyone in real estate knows, like anything could go wrong at any time. So you could be profitable one day and then one thing go wrong, you know, some pipes burst or something, or, you know, something just goes wrong, a contractor runs off, anything, and immediately be non-profitable, like be in the point where you're going to take an L. You know, there's plenty of real estate investors, including myself, that has taken L's on flips and things of that nature because the play didn't go as planned.
Right. And I've heard, I'm sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's just something to be, like, you can't be in real estate and not have, like, tough skin and be, like, mentally strong, or it's going to tear you up.
Yeah, and I heard a lot of people say that you have to take a lot of losses before, because you have to learn a lesson.
You got to learn.
You have to learn. So what's the lesson without taking losses?
Yeah,
so
you got to learn. Like, you know, like with the rentals and stuff, it just depends on how you going about it. Like if you was buying a house cash and, you know, let's say, I don't know, you bought a house for 40, 50,000 cash, and then you put like 30 in it, and then you rented it out, you know, that would take you a while to be profitable, to get your money back at least. But, you know, you could refinance and pull the equity out of it. So it's just like it's just a case by case thing. But most rentals and everything, like people think real estate investors are just rich, and they're not. Most real estate investors only probably profit, well, I'll say from a single family home aspect, like a couple hundred after everything, after taxes, maintenance, things of that nature, only really profit a couple $100 a month. That's not life-changing money. Especially when, so let's say, all right, you make $300-400 a month, and that's your profits for that property. But let's just say some wild happens, I don't know, like a pipe burst or some underground goes bad, or, you know, the furnace blows and you got to come up a couple thousand to get that fixed. There goes your profits for that year. So, you know, or there goes your profits, period, until, so that's why it's a numbers game. That's why it's like you don't start really seeing substantial money or life-changing money until you get to the point where it's like, all right, I started off with a couple properties. Now I got 10. Now I got 20. Now I got 50. Now I got 100. It's a long-term game. So you can't, like, you're not going to buy one property and your life just going to change. That's just what people got to understand.
That makes sense. So you got to have multiple properties before you start to see a profit. So what business are you most passionate about? Your media company, your like credit, real estate? Like what gives you like that passion?
I'm most passionate about my multimedia company.
Okay.
Just because I'm just like a creative at heart. That's what I'm passionate about. So I just love to create. Like I love to bring things to life. I love to visualize stuff. I got into the camera business through music. So I'm just overall like an artistic, a creative person. So I just like to create. And, the camera runs the world at this point right now.
Okay.
So I'm most passionate about that. And I just feel like I just got to take full advantage of that at all times as far as just putting out just everything as much as I can. I'm not even going as hard as I should be right now. I said that today on my story. So, like, I'm about to turn it back up with the content, like, and really just go crazy. But I just feel like, I got the power of telling stories in my hands. So I feel like this is my way of putting my story out. And it's also putting more other people's stories more than mine, I would say, for the most part, because I do it as a business. So it's just like I get to be a part of so much just through the camera. I get to capture a lot of people's special moments. Like I just did a proposal yesterday. That was crazy. So it's just like that's what I'm most passionate about. It makes me feel good. That's what I enjoy doing. It never really feels like work. Sometimes I feel like work because it's not easy, but it never really feels like work. Like I don't never do it and like regret it.
Okay. So can you clarify what exactly your media company is? What exactly do you do?
So I do. I'm primarily booked for video, but I do photos also. Okay. But I'm just booked for video more because, video is just king right now. So it's videography services, photography services, just and content creation. Like now I'm getting ready to start a service where, like, for people like you, podcasts, people that want to make daily content, they could pay me or my business, my team, to curate content for them as well, like, do the cool caption and stuff like that. So
cool. Okay. So how can we contact you for stuff like that?
Do DSB_digital on Instagram.
Okay.
And DSB Digital on Facebook. Right now the website is under construction because I'm basically doing like a complete rebrand right now. So depending on when people see this, it could go there, but if not, they can always reach out on the social medias. Okay,
so it's fine to reach out to your social media.
For sure, yeah.
Sounds good. What can we expect from the Inspiring Local Millionaire? What can we expect?
What can you expect?
Like coming up for you? Like what do you have coming up?
Just consistent growth. Just a better person. Like every day, people can expect a better person. They can expect growth. Like I'm never gonna stop. Whether you want to see me win or not, you're not gonna see me not win.
Period.
Yeah, that's all I guess. That's honestly like I could speak on a whole lot of things. It's a whole lot of emotion, but for the most part, it's just about growing and pushing forward and just being a leader, being a better leader, and not a boss. I want to explain what a local millionaire is.
Okay, go ahead.
That's the Local Millionaires podcast. Because a few people asked me like, how did I come up with that name? It was just something I kind of just came up with. I'm like good with stuff like that. Okay. Sometimes if I'm not overthinking it. But I came up with the Local Millionaires podcast. Basically, like you said, I'm not like we was talking about with the podcast subject. I'm not chasing like clout and popularity when it comes to it. I'm chasing like actual success and growth from a business and entrepreneur standpoint. So I came up with the term local millionaire as in like you're not a millionaire yet, but like you will be if your actions stay how they are now. Like if you're still pushing the same way you are, you're a millionaire. Or you like basically you got to claim it. Like you most millionaires are millionaires before they're millionaires based off of their daily actions, based off of their mindset, based off of how they move. So like a local millionaire is just like somebody that's like you really like you got it. You just got to keep pushing and it's like it's there.
So do you find people to interview where you see that in them?
Yeah, fact. I feel like that's how people look at me. Like there's a lot of people in the city and just locally period that are not like super famous celebrities, but they are known in areas or in, you know, various states or whatever. They're known for like business and what they do. So it's like, you know, you a local millionaire.
I love that. Kind of putting our people on. I love that.
Yeah. Nah.
We can find it on YouTube, right?
Yeah. Local Millionaires Podcast on YouTube. Local Millionaires Podcast on Instagram at SayPleezy, SayPleezy. Business page for any multimedia services is DSB_digital.
Sounds
and
good.
you know, I'm here. You know, I'm here.
Thank you for coming on. Do you want to leave off with something motivational, inspiring?
People need to embrace like just being themselves, believing in themselves, you know, gaining confidence. If you don't have any, find a way to get some. There's a lot of ways to get some confidence and, you know, build that confidence. But in all reality, just stop letting the opinions of others in the world and the society we live in taint your vision and your views on what you can or cannot do. You can literally do anything. You could do anything. Half the stuff I'm doing now, I never seen myself doing. Never seen myself owning multiple properties. Never seen myself flipping properties and getting, you know, 5-figure checks. Like I never like imagined that. I always been a hustler. I always knew I'm gonna find me a way to make some money. But in my mind, coming up, you know, that was gonna be only a few ways. You know, I only seen myself doing it only a few ways.
Right.
And all of those ways I've tried, and you know, a lot of them ways get people in a lot of bad situations. So just be yourself. Just be yourself, man. It's too much influence. It's too much negative influence from social media, from rappers, from females, and it's so much bad influence. And that's why I feel like, you know, I always preach that, especially to young men, like it's important for them to be around like real stand-up guys, like real men that's handling business, that move with morals, integrity, principle. Because if not, just gonna fall victim to everybody else, to the influence of females, the influence of the streets, the influence of horrible males that's within the community, or like all of the above, or an influence to the systems, you know, under the influence of, you know, the way the media portrays us.
Facts. And I love the way that you broke down your meaning of a stand-up guy, because some people have a totally different meaning what a stand-up real man is.
Exactly.
So
Yes. And
it's
like it's bad. So, you know, that's just like that's what I be on.
I respect it. So I heard you talk about confidence, and I'm gonna leave it here. What do you do when you don't feel confident, if you ever do? Like, if
I was about to say, I really don't. I'm really not never confident, but I don't feel like nobody's like 100% always confident. I'd be up here lying if I said I was. I just think it's if you just hold yourself to a certain standard and you think highly of yourself, like you always push through anything, whether you feel confident or not, you'll push through it just based off of how you operate. But I feel like in order for you to operate that way or get to that point, you have to really feel that way about yourself. The only way for you to feel that way about yourself is to actually do things that's going to make you feel that way. Period. You know, I just believe in I know who I am. I know what I've been through. I know where I'm going. I know the things I've got accomplished. So, and nobody really could tell me much about myself, no matter who's around, no matter who walks in the room, whatever. I'm always going to think highly of myself because I just know, I know what I'm doing. I know how I operate. I know what I put on, and I know what I do for the people around me. So you can't fake being confident. Like
you see it, right?
You can see it, how a person operates, how they move, how they talk, how they speak. So if you do things that is going to get you to that point, you know, then you never really going to feel like not confident in a sense.
Right. Thank you so much for coming on the Naked Truth podcast.
No problem.
Look forward to everything that you have going on right now, and I wish you the best.
Appreciate it.